I've collected a nice amount of platinum trophies over the years, but I still run into many frustrations when trying to get that desired platinum trophy.
This game.
So let's go over 10 of those annoying things that can ruin the experience and sometimes even make me hate the game. Starting off with one that is completely out of our control and an immediate turnoff when I see them, multiplayer trophies. Trying to get the trophies in multiplayer is terrible for many reasons. Multiplayer games can often die out fairly quickly, and sometimes that leaves us with just a few low populated servers available. That means you might need to find a boosting group to get the trophies done, or worse, the servers have been taken offline completely, deeming the platinum entirely unobtainable. For that very reason, I recently platinum Mirror's Edge Catalyst as the servers were going to get shut down. And that's for a single player game that doesn't even need any online trophies. Similar experiences are in The Last of Us Remastered and Uncharted 4, both games that really do not need a multiplayer element for us trophy hunters, as it's just an afterthought from the main game. There's also terrible trophy requirements for reaching a certain rank or playing X amount of something, like in Rainbow Six Siege, which is fine in multiplayer only games, but when it comes down to getting that trophy specifically, it can be a real pain when having to come up against actual players. But in my opinion, that's not as bad as when you have to find hundreds of collectibles. Every game has some form of collecting, they simply cannot be ignored anymore, and it can seriously ruin an otherwise really fun game. One game that did it well was Control, as it only had you find about 75% of the collectibles, which is so much better than having to use a guide to find collectibles, or worse, missable collectibles, which we'll both go over in just a few, but at least Control did it well. The same cannot be said about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was just absurd with over 750 collectibles to find. Like, I hated every second of that. And it's usually something that doesn't even benefit me gameplay wise in any way. A low level sword or some lore about an NPC isn't going to persuade me to find the collectibles. To be honest, when I walk into a room in any game, the first thing I do is look for anything that can be picked up, and not what's actually inside of the room. Collectibles have fully cooked my brain, which is just terrible. But not quite as terrible as when you don't even know where that collectible is going to be, because some games think that adding an RNG element to gameplay is a good idea. I'm sorry, but RNG is just not. Two games come to mind when I think of games that I had a terrible RNG experience in, and the first one is Ghostwire Tokyo, where there's a specific trophy that requires you to pull something out of a little omikunji thing. I kid you not when I say it took me over 90 minutes of trying before I got it. 90 minutes of just waiting for a luck-based trophy to pop. Then there was also Returnal, which is still one of my favorite games of all time. However, there's one trophy that requires you to find all of the collectibles, except the map is randomly generated, meaning there is no way to know if that collectible you seek is in this map variant. It's a great game haunted by one terrible trophy because that singular collectible took me over 3 hours to find. And when you finally find it and tell someone how long it took you, and they will come up to you and say, "Well, I actually found it in my first try." Oh brother, please shut the f*** up. These elements just add an unnecessary amount of grind to the game, and grindy trophies specifically are something that you either love or hate. Some people find it fun to do the same thing over and over again, knowing exactly what to expect. Others find it insanely boring, and I fall somewhere in between. I don't mind it to a certain extent, but games like Red Dead Redemption 2 are where I can go a little insane. I remember the online part, notably to reach level 50, was just a crazy thing to grind out. I played the collector role where I was finding online collectibles each and every day for 4 to 5 hours straight in order for me to rank up in the fastest way possible. I lost a time estimate on how long it took me entirely, but it was just insane. Sure, you can play the game normally, but that would just take forever. Similarly to how I'm playing the finals currently, a great game that I'm having a blast with, but to get the platinum you need to reach 50 million cash. And the time estimate for that is around 400 hours. I still enjoy playing it, but that trophy is purely there to just extend the playtime, as it doesn't really add anything. But I'll be sharing my thoughts on that platinum journey in a later video, so make sure to subscribe to see that soon. Another way that games extend their playtime is when they ask you to replay the game. This can be on a higher difficulty, New Game Plus, or for a different ending. And endings are the one that I personally really dislike. One such game that I haven't platinumed because of that reason is Detroit Become Human. A game I very much enjoyed on my initial playthrough, but because the platinum requires you to get multiple endings, meaning multiple playthroughs, I haven't gone back for it since. It's just that I feel content with the ending I got, and I don't want to ruin my experience by getting a different outcome. I'm sure I'll revisit it at some point in the future, but when I check a trophy guide and it shows more than 2 playthroughs, I immediately back out. Like the Resident Evil games, for example, look like a blast to play. However, because I want to platinum every game I play, I won't play that game specifically because of that terrible trophy requirement of multiple playthroughs. Yes, I know it's dumb, but that's the life of an addicted trophy hunting nerd. And I would have to use a guide for those games, which is a necessity for any completionist. Guides are created by the community and are truly something awesome. However, certain trophies are impossible to obtain without a guide. Goat Sim 3, for example, has many trophies that you simply won't be able to figure out without a guide. You wouldn't stumble across the needed thing you are after by playing the game yourself. You have to look up a guide where and how to do it. The Uncharted games usually have similar trophies that will only make sense once you know the right encounter for everything to line up perfectly. Similarly for collectibles, where you are glued to your guide in order to not lose track of where you need to go for that collectible. These things suck and you're forced to screen watch for hours on end. But on the other hand, you should be glad that there is a guide available, as on several occasions, for example when the game just came out on launch day, or when the game isn't as big and popular as you'd like, there might not even be a guide available. It's a rare exception, but it can be a true pain to obtain all the trophies then. The trophies may be hidden, requiring you to potentially reveal spoilers for yourself due to the trophy name and requirements, or that the description is unclear and no way to know what to do in order to pop it. Sure, you can say, well, this is the way to platinum games, who needs a guide? But that's not how it should be. I remember playing Crazy Chicken Shooter for a video once, and that game had no guide available anywhere on the internet. No tips, nothing. At one point near the end of my platinum journey, I didn't know what to do, and at that point I just started hoping that I magically unlocked the trophy. Nobody played the game, so there was zero chance I was going to find anything helpful anywhere on the internet. Luckily, it felt amazing when I finally popped that trophy all by myself. But I value my time, and when I don't know what to do because the description is unclear, well, that just sucks. Speaking of valuable time, some platinums require us to use time as efficiently as possible in order to pop a speedrun trophy. Playing the game as fast as fuck, boy, is fun for some people. Like, there's a whole community of people who play games just quickly. But as a trophy hunter myself, and my personal opinion, I find them either hit or miss. There's games like Stray that I adore, but I had to finish within 2 hours in order to pop a trophy. I loved the game and platinum, but this trophy definitely did not make me enjoy the game any more because of it. On the other hand, Titanfall 2 has a trophy to beat the Gauntlet leaderboards, and that I found very fun to do. Maybe because it was only the second trophy I earned in the game and I didn't struggle with it, but it also felt like a fun time trial because it only takes around 30 seconds. Stray, on the other hand, is 2 hours. Although I finished that speedrun way ahead of time, can you imagine missing the mark by a couple of seconds? That's 2 whole hours wasted. On the flip side, I'm currently trying to platinum Beat Saber, and one of the trophies requires me to play 24 hours. A minimum playtime to platinum a game, like what is that? Again, I value my time, and so I'm not afraid to admit I have used glitches in the past to get some trophies out of the way, like the Uncharted games, which are notorious for speedrun trophies. But it's just scary and forces you to play in a certain way, which I really don't like. And that doesn't only count for time-based trophies. There's another type of trophy that I hate and can easily make me avoid a game entirely. It's my least favorite type of trophy, and that's missable trophies. Knowing that you have to watch out for certain collectibles, story elements, or whatever it is during a playthrough just adds a whole load of stress on playing a game. The Witcher 3 has the notorious Gwent cards to watch out for, which are only available in certain parts of the game. And that's partly one of the reasons I never went back for platinuming that game. But also with missable endings, for example in Cyberpunk. I'm still in the midst of this platinum, but I forgot one of the missable trophies. There's a story mission that requires you to save someone, but the game never tells you it's an option. Although the guide specifically pointed it out, I forgot about it as I was just trying to enjoy the game. I ended up missing that trophy and having to go back a few save files and replay a few hours in order to get the ending I needed. These trophies just suck as you have to read a guide in order to know about the missable thing you need. But that also means you are very easily met with spoilers for the game. Like, I just hate it so much when I have to read a guide and it says something I clearly should not have known story-wise yet. And when you still end up missing that trophy, it has got to be one of the worst feelings. However, it is not the worst feeling, because there's one thing worse than the previous things mentioned. Imagine you have done any of the before mentioned types of trophies correctly. You follow the guide, you did exactly what it says into the most minute detail, you made sure of it, and then it doesn't pop. No trophy notification, nothing. Okay, well, you think I must have done something wrong, let me try it again. Nope, still nothing. Okay, let me try it another time. Nope, nothing. You decide to look for help online, and that's when you realize the trophy is glitched. You did everything right, but the game's not rewarding you with it. You see the other people complain about it, all with the exact same issues. Sometimes it can even make the platinum completely unobtainable, and when it's not a known issue for everyone, the devs might not even be aware and try to fix it. And that's when you're just plain out of luck, hoping that the developers fix that issue, or whatever it is that needs fixing gets fixed in order for you to pop that trophy. Glitch trophies have got to be a trophy hunter's worst nightmare. It's the arch nemesis of completionists. You do everything correctly, but the game decides, nope, not having it. Anyway, if you want to see some of the games I couldn't platinum, then check out this video.